All right, folks. Oh, it's the first of the month. Oh dear. Too late for pinch and punch, isn't it, really? Well, pinch and punch for the first day of the month is supposed to be before 12 o'clock, midday. Too late. 3 hours too late. Oh, dear. Oh, well, perhaps we'll have to wait till next month. Oh, dear. Anyway, okay. First point about this one has got to be the British government are now talking about a month lockdown for the whole of the England, probably Wales, and yeah, the 4-week lockdown again. I mean, it is exactly like, you buy a house in the woods and you hear these weird noises. So you and your family are talking about the nasty things that are out there, going to get you. So every night you hear these noises and you persuade yourself even more that these nasty things are going to get you. Until you're scared to death to even go out. And you end up burning the place down and just leaving. British government is doing exactly that, and the British media is doing exactly that. They're talking up COVID. Now the problem is, if all you can see is COVID, if that's all you can see, because that's all you're looking at, and you're panicking about that, you're having the scientists come in who only talk about, the death numbers are going to be so horrendous. They had something the other day on one of the news networks did a thing talking about that the numbers are doubling every 9 days. Well, look, folks, okay. The numbers may have doubled every 9 days up to this point. It doesn't mean it's going to continue doubling every 9 days, does it? But if you listen to these people talk, they talk as if it's going to double every 9 days. Based on what? Based on the flimsy fact it has done up to now. Okay, right. I've woken up every morning. Does that mean I'm going to wake up every morning for the rest of eternity? No, but come on. For the last 50 years, I've woken up every morning. Same thing every morning. So why on earth should that ever change? They're looking at COVID in that way. It's ridiculously stupid. Ridiculously stupid, isn't it, really? It's childish. That's what it is. The way the British government is behaving is childish. Oh, dear. Yeah, as I say, we know lockdowns don't particularly work. That, put it this way, most of the country is pretty much in a lockdown anyway. Tier 2 or Tier 3. Yet COVID is still, there's more cases. Why is that? When did this start? When did the cases suddenly start to go up massively? It was students going back to uni, wasn't it? Well, first of all, kids going back to school. That increased it a bit. Then as soon as students went back to uni, bang! But then recognise it for what it was. Look, you've got people like Michael Gove. Oh, jeez. Have you ever seen a bloke who so much deserves to be smacked in the face? How on earth that man has got through life? Oh. Then you've got this Starmer bloke saying delaying national lockdown will have real human costs. Yeah, but locking down for a month, completely locking down again for a month, is going to have real human costs, you absolute bloody moron. Look at the full picture. One second. I've not checked this for a long time, but I'm going to check. Where do I check this? 1 second. I've got. I've forgotten where I saw this now. Where did I have this before? I have the COVID thing, but I'm not sure where it is. It was in Watch, wasn't it? Somewhere. Yeah, let's go down here. Where is it? Where is it? Where's your COVID deaths? There you go. Go here. Right, let's have a look. Let's see what the actual situation is according to the proper figures, shall we? I'm going on blinking panic merchants. Oh, again, typical, right? This is where the UK really gets on my bloody nerves. With new deaths, no figures. Right, nothing shown. New cases, nothing shown. They're out there talking in the media about a new lockdown is needed, whereas online, certainly, if you try and check up to see the cases and the deaths at the moment, nothing. Active cases, total recovered, not applicable. Active cases, not applicable. Not applicable. The only other nation that's got not applicable is Spain. Certainly in the top 20 of countries. All the other countries have actually answered the question. Let's see about yesterday. See if we've got anything there then. Oh, we've got just the UK hasn't caught up. Okay. So yesterday, 326 people in the whole of the UK died of COVID. Or let's be more honest about it, shall we? Did they all die of COVID? Not necessarily. No. The reason why not necessarily no is because, as we already know, anyone who goes into hospital, certainly of any respiratory issue, is tested. If they have COVID in their system, so if they had COVID months ago, it will show up as a COVID case, even though it possibly isn't. Quite likely it's got nothing to do with COVID at all. But if they have COVID in their system, so basically 326 people died yesterday or the day before who had COVID in their system. Now, it may be that they had COVID a month ago, 2 months ago. It may be that they had COVID 3 weeks ago. Maybe that they recovered from COVID just 2 days ago. Yeah. Yet they had COVID in their system, so according to the numbers, they counted as COVID deaths. Well, again, have a bloody test that can show whether a person is infectious now. Not whether a person has COVID in their system. That's giving you a warped view of the figures, isn't it, really? Like I said, a further 21,000 cases. But again, how many people are they testing on a daily basis? So again, the cases are going to be anyone where COVID is found in their system. It's quite likely COVID will be found in my system. I may have had COVID, but really had no impact from it. It may have not impacted me at all, but I may have had it. So it may be in my system without me even knowing. So I get tested as COVID positive. That's a new case because it's in my system, even though I never had any impact from it at all. It may have been something that was in me, 5 weeks ago. Yeah, I don't think that was the case, but it may be the case because the problem is with a lot of cases, you don't know, do you? It's crazy the way the UK is reacting. Like it says, tests per million population. The UK is 492,000 tests per million. It's the highest. No other country per million has tested more than the UK has. Right? Look it up. I will include that site. Okay, I'll link it. You can look it up yourself. But you can see quite clearly when it says tests per million, you can see the UK is way ahead. I mean, America is close. Next closest with 434,000. So the UK 492,000. But then you've got Russia with 413,000. It's crazy business. When you look at that, it explains completely why there's all these more cases. Because you're testing more. You're testing more. Deaths per day hasn't really increased that much. 326 deaths, but again, is it actually because people died of COVID? Or did they die of something else but had COVID in their system? This time of the year, with the weather changing and the temperature going down and flu being in the vicinity, people die. It happens every year. Easily 326 people dying per day during a situation where flu is quite rife. That happens. Mexico had more deaths counted yesterday. 516 more deaths. 516 deaths. India had more deaths. America had more deaths. Even Iran had more deaths. I mean, more cases, we're up there amongst the highest and more cases. But Italy are above the UK. France are above the UK. India and America above the UK for new cases. Again, that's down to testing, isn't it? I mean, if the figures accurately showed testing per the last week, then you'd see a far more accurate picture of why these countries are getting more cases coming in at a massive amount right now. Why has Italy got 31,000 more cases? I mean, they tested a lot of people, but have they just started increasing the tests? Don't know. Maybe that's what's behind it all. We don't know, do we? That's the point. We don't know. Well, Mexico has got 6,000 new cases, but they had 516 new deaths. But only 6,000 new cases. So they're further down the list. They're in 10th. The UK's in 9th, one place above. A lot more cases, less deaths. But again, you've got to look at the picture from the real picture. The problem is that you've got people who, so you've got a photo. I mean, for example, you go to an art gallery. Now, what these politicians and what these figures are basically doing from the politicians and what they're looking at is you go to a Van Gogh painting or something like that, and you stand within 1 centimetre of that photo, of that painting. What are you going to see? What impression are you going to get of that painting from 1 centimetre away? Are you going to get a true impression of what that picture is from that distance? Say you're blindfolded, you're placed to 1 centimetre away, then the blindfold taken off, you're asked, what's this picture of? Do you think you've got any chance whatsoever of being able to identify what that picture would be of from 1 centimetre away? But that's what the politicians and the news media are doing with regards to this picture of COVID and health and deaths and all this stuff. They're standing way too close and they're looking at it only from one little tiny perspective, focusing everything on that. When the test we have is a bad test. It's not a good test in any way, shape, or form. It's a bad test. Yes, it does show COVID. It does identify COVID. but it doesn't identify whether you have COVID active and ripe or rife in your body right now. It doesn't identify that. It should. It should. The problem is how would I'm not. I've got no knowledge about tests or anything like that, really, as to how to make a test do that rather than do what this one's doing. There must be a way to do it. There must be a way to do it. There must be some sort of thing within the body that you can test for, to show that whether this COVID is truly active in the body, or whether it's dormant because it's been active and it's died. Very important thing to be testing and to be showing, isn't it? Really, you would assume that would be the case. You would assume that should be something which you should be looking at. Trying to make sure that you understand, is this an active case of COVID, or is COVID dormant in this person because they've had it in the past and don't have it anymore? Very important. If you're talking about new cases or active cases, you can't count it as an active case if that person had COVID months ago but doesn't have it anymore. But you might have a tiny bit in the person's system. It's ridiculous to push that as being an active case. It isn't. It just isn't. It's completely and utterly insane. I say with the UK, you still can't see what the active cases are, even from yesterday's. 2 days ago. Nope. Total recovered, no idea for the UK. Same with Spain. Spain don't give that information. Not applicable again in total recovered and active cases. Yeah. When they're saying that the cases increase double every 9 days. Well, 2 days ago, there were 24,000 new cases in the UK. Yesterday, 21,000 new cases. So it went down by about 2,500 cases. So that doesn't suggest it's going to be doubled, does it really? Of course, you're only looking at a tiny window, aren't you? Aye. Well, yeah. Oh, also, I got the information wrong. In a video recently, I was talking about the water buckets I've got out here. I said they're 50 or 60 litre. No. They're 210 litre, both of them. So I did replace one. I got one today to replace it. Hopefully this one isn't going to develop a hole. That would be useful if it doesn't. It possibly won't. Because I had something that was quite solid and quite flat that I put underneath it this time. So hopefully that will work. I built up a bit of earth underneath it as well, so it'd be fairly flat, level surface that it'd be on, which will hopefully help it once it fills up. To cover that, and it seems to be. Hopefully, it will do the job. So that would be once they're full, there'd be probably around about 400 litres of water when they're both full. Which, as I said, in the summer, that's needed, because if you get maybe 2 weeks of dry weather with no rain, my dogs won't drink. They don't like tap water in any way, shape, or form. They prefer not to drink it. They would drink it if they're absolutely dying of thirst, but otherwise they wouldn't drink it. They've turned their nose up at it before. Rainwater they tend to like. They do like that. But tap water, no, they don't like it. It's fluoride. The country puts fluoride in the water, which, again, come on. What are you doing? That needs to stop. It does. You need to stop doing that. Yeah, I mean, it's going to damage the teeth. It's going to damage the body because you're putting a chemical into the body that shouldn't be there. Not in any way, shape, or form. So what does that do? Could that be part of the problem with the cases of cancer that are increasing, or strokes, or heart disease, or any number of different things that are causing people to die? Could adding fluoride into the water be, something that could be a causation of these things? Anything is possible when you're adding chemicals into people's water that people are consuming all the time. It's quite possible that there is potential harm in that. Hi. Yeah. So anyway, there you go. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, I will link the coronavirus update to it. If you look at today's, as I say, you don't get any information right now from the UK or from a lot of nations. America is doing okay so far, only 49 new deaths. But that may very well increase because yesterday they had 914 new deaths. So it's quite possible that the numbers just haven't been got in yet from yesterday, because I imagine it's yesterday's figures that they'll have in today. No idea. But yeah, we need the media and the government to stop being these, like you've got it in movies. You've got these women that are in the horror movies just because they've got that perfect scream. And we seem to have that with the media and the politicians right now. Just screaming continually, which causes fear. And enough of the population hears their screams and thinks, well, there must be something to it. Yeah. Stop thinking about must. It's not necessarily a must be something to it at all. Quite possibly it isn't a must. Quite possibly it's, not a situation there at all. That is quite likely to be the situation. That all this panic is really just panic. And not really based on anything that is that real. Let's say, the image, step back, look at the full picture. And then what do you see? If you are a leader, if you are a politician and you are a leader, you are the government in charge, you have to be looking at the full picture. If you're not, then potentially you are causing massive problems. Like I said earlier, that the furlough scheme has been extended till December. Well, who the hell is going to pay for that? Where are they going to get the money back? They're going to have to get the money back, aren't they? Then there was some muppet on Twitter saying that, if the furlough scheme's being extended till December, that means that the private sector is going to have only 80% of their wage. So should the public sector have a 20% cut? I just responded and said, excuse me, you moron. It's free money. It's money you don't have to work for. You're at home, aren't you, really? Having a flipping holiday, getting paid for it, a month. And if you work in the private sector, you've had the benefits of that sector for years and years and years and years and years. So, okay, the public sector is getting a few benefits now. They're getting paid slightly better than what you are. Tough luck. Suck it up. It's free money. But it's not free money to some people because they're going to have to get that money back somehow. So who are they going to have a go at to get the money back? It will be the public sector, not the private sector. I mean, what they should do for at least I would say probably 5 years. Oh, what's it called? National insurance contributions should go up. I don't know what it is right now. I have no idea, but it should go up. It should double what you have to contribute. And that should be the case for God knows how long. I mean, even do that for 10 to 15 years to pay back this money that's been borrowed or given out. Where you've had free money. You've been able to keep your job when your job probably would have been lost. So stop moaning that you're only getting 80%. You have a job when your job would have been lost because you're getting no customers because there's a bloody lockdown, you idiot. So when you get no customers, your business is, whatever business you're involved in, you are doing a service of some sort, which you get paid for. But you won't be doing that because everything's locked down. So you're still getting pretty much paid for doing nothing. And you go back to a job in most cases. Yeah, you may have to start again. Certainly if you're in a restaurant or something like that, you're going to have to try and pick up the pieces and start again. And it's tough. Of course it's tough. And I feel sorry for the people that are in those sort of businesses, especially the hospitality, because they've had to bend over backwards to make sure that they can stay open during this time. Bringing all these new measures. And yet, stupid government. And it is a stupid government. I mean, I think when this is all over, people are going to look back and they're going to realise just how incredibly incompetent politicians really are. Because they're going to see this is going to highlight just how incredibly lucky politicians in the past have been not to be shown up as incompetent as these that have been. I mean, the incompetency is absolutely phenomenal. With all these politicians in this situation, they have not got a clue what to do. They've chosen the wrong politicians to be led and guided by. What they should have been guided by would be all the politicians, all the scientists. The ones that are saying that lockdown is a good idea and the ones that are saying lockdown doesn't work. Bring them all in. Listen to them all. Weigh it up. That's your job. But they don't seem to be doing that. What they seem to be doing is anyone who says no, lockdowns are bad news, that they don't work, they get ridiculed because they're not towing the line. But they could be right though, couldn't they? So those people need to keep speaking out because they could be right. And if they are right, at some point the politicians need to listen. Obviously, if they're wrong, then we need to get behind the politicians. Simple. But we need them looking at the full picture, and we need them helping us to understand that they really are looking at the full picture, because so far we don't get that impression from them. Well, especially when the media are, pushing all this fear as well, because the media are the ones that should be holding the government accountable. Instead, they're pushing the same agenda that the government are pushing. So that's not helpful. Anyway, you take care. God bless. I will speak to you soon. Stay safe. Bye-bye.